Hi guys, it's Amanda, and my final project is on brainstorming. I had to do a lot of brainstorming in order to, one, not only figure out what I wanted to do with my final project, but two, to determine what it is that I wanted to talk about. I often find myself when I'm doing lesson plans and presentations that there's a lot that I want to say, and I have determined over time that that's kind of a downfall for me, that I really need to figure out relevant information versus what can wait or can be in a follow-up lesson. So brainstorming is a big thing for me because it allows me to gather all the thoughts that I have, because I always feel like I have a lot of thoughts. It's just a matter of organizing them all. So in this lesson, we're going to talk about what brainstorming is and what it can be used for. We'll discuss different ways to brainstorm and how you can brainstorm, and that just really can depend on who you are and how you think, how you personally learn, and then what the content is and what you are learning. So is it a paper? Is it a project? Is it a presentation? And this can determine things like that, and how you want to brainstorm. There'll be chances throughout this presentation to check for understanding, just as we talk about topics, as well as for you to express any personal experiences that you've had with brainstorming, because that'd be cool to know, to see if we all have different ways that we brainstorm or new ideas. And then at the end, there will be an activity that I will have you do in order to practice brainstorming. Our learning objective, so we are going to be able to define what brainstorming is. We will be able to explain different ways to brainstorm. And then at the end, you will be able to choose a way to brainstorm to complete a two-part activity. So it's basically just two different things that I want you to do in order to practice the way you brainstorm. And I'll explain that later. So what is brainstorming? So brainstorming is defined as a group or an individual creativity exercise. So this can be done as an individual, or it can be done with others. You can really gather your thoughts that you have going on in your head. You can put these pen to paper. You can put these pencil to paper. You can use typing. I know I'm a big person on wanting physical, so I do a lot of pen to paper, pencil to paper. I like using different colors of pens and highlighters, and using arrows and shapes to kind of like connect all of my ideas once I get them down. So that's just the way that I like to do it. So it's gathering all of these thoughts that are in your head when you're given a task, when you're given a topic, and you maybe need to come up with more ideas because you're given something and maybe you don't know too much. So you want to write down what you know and then determine, okay, what is it that I need to know? Like how much, like what is it that I need to research? Or if you're like me, it's writing down everything you know and then just determining what it is that you are going to talk about in this moment, or you're going to present in this moment. So determining that relevant information. And then it's gathering all of these thoughts into a cohesive idea. So here's my list of thoughts. Here's all of this. Now, what's the topic here? What's a main topic? What do these things all have in common? And so that's basically what brainstorming is. It just allows you to gather your thoughts and determine what's going on here. So there are different ways to brainstorm. The top three seem to be the most common ways, whereas the bottom two are ways that I haven't really thought about, and I'll explain why. So free writing is pretty simple. Like I said, pen to paper or typing on a laptop or computer. It just allows you to get whatever thoughts are in your head out. So grammar, punctuation, spelling, all of that doesn't really seem to matter here. You just, you can use shorthand, like you're getting your thoughts out of your head. Like they're just coming so fast, you need to write them all down. You can do this timed, you can do this untimed. It really just depends on you personally. But like I said, just getting those thoughts out. Listing and bulleting comes more when you're thinking about a specific topic. So if you are given a topic, like what do you think about when you hear that? So like reading. When I think about reading, I think about books, I think about words, I think about the hardcover, I think about softcover, I think about where I want to read, I think about how, am I going to be comfortable? Do I need a drink with me? Do I need a snack with me? Things like that. So what do you think about when you hear like this word or you hear this topic? And then you can pick and choose what's going to be your relevant information or what's going to be your main idea here. Sometimes it can be multiple lists, like I started naming food and drinks and stuff, and maybe that doesn't really have to do with what I need to talk about for reading in this moment, but it's what I thought about when I read. So that's one idea. Another thing is clustering, mapping, and webbing. Kind of all the same idea here, just different names. And this is almost random, and it's basically blank sheet of paper. Here are some thoughts, here are more some thoughts. These kind of connect, so I'm going to move these down here. And it's looking at it and starting to make connections. And like that clustering of, okay, these ideas can go together. I'm going to put them in this top corner. And okay, these ideas kind of go together with that, but not so much. So I'm going to shift them down a little bit to the bottom of the paper, and then making those relevant connections and starting to maybe use lines and arrows to find those links and connections in order to gather your thoughts. Now, these last two here, to be honest, I didn't really think about when I brainstorm, but they do make sense. Because to me, brainstorming is starting with chaos and then ending organized. Whereas these two start you organized to help you become more organized. And I thought that was really cool. So journalistic questions are just basically your 5 W's and how. So who, what, when, where, why, and how. And using these questions to determine what it is that you already know and how much information you have. And then finding a balance about how much more information you need to find out. And then basically basing your topic and either your paper or presentation to help you balance on which one you really want to focus on. So it's just helping you organize your thoughts that much more. And then purpose versus audience is very straightforward. So what is your purpose and why are you doing this? And then your audience is, who is your audience? What do they already know? What do they need to know? And what more can you tell them? So like I said, these last two are taking questions and answering them to really help you start organized so you can have a really well-rounded thought and idea for what it is that you want to do when it comes to brainstorming. So again, like I said, I'm more like organized to chaos, whereas journalistic questions and purpose versus audience are kind of like, let's start organized, let's end organized. Here I have a couple video links that you are more than welcome to pause this video for to check out. They are also listed below, linked here. So a better way to brainstorm is just a way that a teacher has come up with a creative idea to kind of break down like a mind block wall that his students have seen. So I thought that was really cool. And then the other one is quick tips, brainstorming techniques. So it's kind of walking you through step by step some of these things. So like free writing and clustering and listing. So I thought that was really cool as well. So feel free to check those out. And then here are some how-to videos as well that'll also be linked below. I would like for you to watch these if you want a refresher on free writing, mapping, and then journalistic and information questions if you need more information about those or more clarification. So feel free to watch those 3 videos before you move forward because the next will be the activity that I would like for you to complete. So welcome back, and thanks for spending the time to watch those videos. I hope it didn't take too much time out of your day. So this is going to be a brainstorming activity that I would like for you, if possible, to have a piece of paper and a pen or pencil, or if you are tech savvy and would like to use a Word document on your laptop, by all means, that's completely up to you. But this is going to be 2 parts. So the first part, first topic that I want you to do is without thinking, like without even putting too much thought into it, I want you to spend maybe a minute or just as long as it takes you to perform this task. So someone is asking you to create a blog and you need to think about the design and the layout and an idea for it. So what would you talk about? So I want you to brainstorm an idea for this, just the first thing that comes to your mind on how you want to brainstorm. So I'm going to go ahead and let you do that. And then when you're ready, like I said, if you want to take that minute or if you just want to get as many ideas as you can out, go for it. And then when you click forward again, it'll be a brand new topic. So you just this is one way you're brainstorming right now with creating a blog for someone. All right, now the second activity, I'm challenging you here, and I would like for you to answer this next prompt. Not really answer it, but like, how would you brainstorm for this one by using a different technique than what you used for creating the blog. So for creating the blog, you use list and bullets. For this next one, I would like for you to use something else, either free writing or cluster mapping or journalistic questions or purpose and audience. I hope you understand what I mean there. So just use a different way to brainstorm for this next one. So this is a typical kind of like an SAT question. So the question is, does money really buy one happiness? Why or why not? So if you need to answer this writing prompt, how would you brainstorm this? So go ahead and do that. Once you are finished, like I said, if you want to take a minute to do that, totally fine. When you move forward, there will be a final question for you to answer within this presentation. So overall, as you can see, there are multiple ways to brainstorm, and it really just determines on what you are going to be doing. If you're going to be writing a paper, if you're going to be doing a presentation, is it more on the artsy side? Is it more on the written side? I find myself, if I'm writing a paper, to do more of listing, bulleting, outlining, whereas if I'm doing a presentation, I need more clustering and a more of like that artistic style, and I'm going to figure out colors and things like that. And this is because not everyone's the same, nor do they think the same. Everyone has their own ideas to this, and it kind of ties back to the individual versus group. Sometimes you need to brainstorm with others, and that's just because you need a new way of thinking, or you're at that mind block and you need more ideas. I know I find myself going when I'm at work, like if I'm training and I'm stuck and I'm like, I need to come up with a new idea to how to train this. And I go to my other trainers and they just come at me with a new idea. And it's just like, yes, that's what I needed. And it's just because everyone has different experiences. And we know this, we're all educators. We know that people learn in different ways because they come from different backgrounds. They have different experiences. So we want to take as much as that as we can to help one another and brainstorm and gather our thoughts. Some people like to work best alone, and that's totally cool. But sometimes when you really have a second mind working with you, you can really get more information and a new perspective on things. When it comes to brainstorming, more is better, honestly. The more ideas you can have, the more you can really determine what it is that you want to present and talk about. And then you can even sometimes see too that you have a whole nother set of ideas where you can do a whole nother lesson plan or a whole nother presentation. And it really just helps you see what you know. And it's always a good feeling to know that you know way more than what you originally thought you did. So I think that's cool. And organization is key, whether you're starting with chaos and ending an organization, or like I said, with those journalistic questions and purpose versus audience, you're starting organized, you're just becoming more organized. Chaos is fun. Organized chaos is fun, but the more organized you are, the more comfortable you'll feel about your brainstorming and knowing that you have a clear and concise point to what it is that you're talking about. And then just for funsies, I wanted to show you what it looked like on how I brainstorm. So this is literally my paper. I don't know why I use graph paper, but I do. I almost wanted to do a time-lapse video of this because I didn't write this straight out. Like, those arrows were added because I realized that I wanted to switch stuff around, or I've crossed things out, or down at the bottom where it shows my in-video quizzing questions, I started doing that when I was thinking about my learning objectives. So I kind of just moved down to the bottom of my paper. So I feel like this is a combination of listing and bulleting and kind of mapping in a way, because I was figuring out, okay, I want to put these ideas up here and these ideas down here. And then I started using arrows. So this is just what I thought of. So like I said, I kind of wanted to do a time-lapse video. I even wrote that down of me writing this out, because you would have seen a million different ways that I wrote and how ideas go all over the paper. But like I said, that's just me in organized chaos and how I brainstorm. So I just thought that'd be a little fun thing for you to see. These are just some of the references that I used for brainstorming. A lot of the links are below, so feel free to explore. And I hope you enjoyed brainstorming and maybe learned a new way to brainstorm.